John Schneider, the manager of my beloved Toronto Blue Jays, provided an environment so great that he had his players figuratively betting on themselves. Stephen Vogt, the Cleveland Indians' newly named Manager of the Year, won less games than the previous year and had two of his players literally betting against themselves. I know who my Manager of the Year is.
Let's go Blue Jays!
So recently, I decided to take a trip to New York City. To check out all the sights and sounds of a socialist society. And I attempted to get into a supposed new and trendy nightclub in Manhattan. But the doorman stopped me and said, "Sorry, bud, but you've had too many." I replied, "What, drinks?" And he said, "No, birthdays." It was another Sunday and school was in session and the teacher was teaching about the differences between right and wrong. "All right, children, let's take another example," she said. "If I were to get into a man's pocket and take his wallet with all of his money, what would I be?" Of course, Johnny raises his hand and with a big confident smile blurts out, "His wife!" The top 15 perks of being a man. Number 15, your orgasms are real. Always. 14, your last name stays the same. 13, the garage is all yours. 12, wedding plans take care of themselves. 11, hot wax never. And I mean never comes anywhere near your private area. 10. Wedding dresses, $5,000. Tuxedo rental, $500. 9. Phone conversations are over in about a minute. 8. A 5-day vacation requires only one suitcase. 7. You can open all your own jars. 5. You can quietly watch a game with your buddy for hours without ever thinking, "She must be mad at me." 4. If you're 34 and single, nobody notices. 3. If another guy shows up at the party in the same exact outfit, you just might become lifelong friends. 2. Car mechanics tell you the truth. And the number one perk of being a man is your backside is never a factor in a job interview.
What you talking about, Willis?
There once was a gal named Lewinsky who played music like a Stravinsky. 'Twas "Hail to the Chief" on his flute made of beef that stole the front page from Kaczynski. Said Clinton to young Miss Lewinsky, "We don't want to leave clues like Kaczynski. Since you look such a mess, use the hem of your dress and wipe that goo off of your chinsky." Lewinsky and Clinton have shown what Kaczynski must have surely known, that an intern is better than a bomb in a letter given a choice of how to be blown. So a Jehovah's Witness knocked on my door the other day, so I answered it this time, and I figured I'm going to take a new approach on this. So I asked if he wanted to come in for a bit, and he said, "Yeah, sure, okay." I said, "I'm just making a cup of coffee for myself. Would you like one?" The Jehovah's Witness replies, "I'll have a cup of tea if you have." I said, "Sure, a little honey okay?" He said, "Yeah, why not?" I said, "Listen, I just made some toast. Do you want a slice?" He said, "Yeah, why not?" I then sat down beside him and I asked him, "So, what now?" And he said, "I don't know. I've never gone this far before." Cash is not king. There's also MasterCard, Visa, Amex, Diners Club. Love your neighbor, but don't get caught. I now know that I have finally lost it. 'Cause recently when a pretty girl smiled at me, I checked my zipper. A woman who plays cards one night a month with a group of friends was concerned that she always woke up her husband when she came home around 12:30 or so. So she decided to be considerate and not rouse him this time. So she undressed in the living room and with her purse over her arm, she tiptoed nude into the bedroom, only to find her husband sitting up in bed reading. "Oh no," he exclaimed, "did you lose everything?" Now, being the security director, I had to have a word with a new employee who never seemed to arrive to work on time. And so I explained that her tardiness was unacceptable and that other employees had started to notice and mentioned it to me that she was walking in late every day. So after listening to me for a while go on, she agreed that this was a problem and apologized to me. And then she offered me this solution. "Is there another door I could use?" "Mom, what's a Canadian?" "It's an unarmed sitting duck North American that are currently being overrun by censorship, taxes, and illegals with free health care, sweetie." Americans want to know if someone can explain to them which crimes get you deported and which ones get you elected, because this is confusing. When the casino plasters everywhere, "Gamble responsibly," do they mean you never leave a heater? The Tony Toons, questions of the day. If a cow laughed really, really hard, would milk come out of their nose? If nothing ever sticks to Teflon, how in the world did they make Teflon stick to the pan? I've reached that time in my life where I legit forget a whole present that I just wrapped after I finish wrapping it. Did you know that in England, for every church, there are 2 pubs, and in Poland, for every pub, there are 2 churches? Guess which one's doing better now? How do Middle Eastern Arab parents get their little toddlers to eat all of their food? They use the spoon or fork and go, "Here comes the airplane. Here comes the second one." What kind of bee makes milk? Boobies. What's a 9/11 survivor's least favorite bagel? Plain. What do you call a disabled gang member? Crip.
What you talking about, Willis?
You ever hear that saying that goes, "Only gay men know how to dress"? I say, of course they know how to dress. They only spent the last 15 years in the closet.
If you smell!
An older man realized that he needed to purchase a hearing aid, but he didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. "How much do these hearing aids cost?" he asked the salesman. "Anything from $5 to $5,000. "Can I see the $5 model?" said the man. The salesman put the device around the man's neck and said, "Okay, you just stick this button in your ear and run this little string down into your pocket." "Okay, so how does it work?" asked the man. "Oh, for $5, this one doesn't actually work," said the salesman. "But when people see you wearing it, they'll talk louder."